Hey everybody, welcome to day 1 of 12 Days of Anime. I'm Kelon.
I'm Andy.
And today we're reviewing Tokyo Godfathers. Tokyo Godfathers is a story of 3 bums finding a baby and then, after attempting to raise them themselves, go on an adventure to return it to its mother. Now, what's awesome about this movie is that
a lot of twists and turns.
There's a lot of twists and turns in this movie that always end up one-upping itself. And even though it has all this craziness to it, it takes the time to develop the characters you're learning about and this greater mystery that's going on throughout the whole movie.
And let alone that, the moments where it's either serious as there's moments where it's very serious in tone of expressing on how the characters are through a sad or a kind of dark moment that they're experiencing at the time. Okay, whether it's from learning about certain issues in their life that they've been avoiding coming back towards them, or if it's just a kind of like a calming moment, a relaxing moment after dealing with all the high octane, running and chasing and crashing or craziness that's happening throughout this show or this movie.
Although you mentioned craziness, it isn't crazy all the time. It kind of gets there. Like the climax, especially.
It starts off very kind of mellow, and then it works its way up to I would say 20 minutes in. That's when it gets it.
Because it really takes the time to set up the main 3, and then the baby, and then from there is when they start to go take the baby back. That's when the adventure starts. Probably about 20 minutes in. Yeah. And that's when it just doesn't stop. It doesn't pull the punches. It just goes right in.
And then whenever it is a moment that is a more of a relaxing tone, it's still not dull at all because there's always a constant of humor or something going on in the background that just kind of makes you what's happening, and it'll just drag you in, whether it's that calming or if it's a kind of saddening moment.
Yeah. The 3 main characters, there's Gin. It's Gin. I think it's Gin. He's like your stereotypical drunk homeless guy.
And then
rough around. Not there yet. There's he's rough around the edges, but really does care. And
he's a softie in
he's basically the guy who knows how to be a dad. He feels like he knows how that works, being the dad. Then there's Hana. You want to talk about that?
Hana is basically, whether we know if she's transgender or just a drag queen from that standpoint, because there's mention of she wants to have a child and she makes moments of hitting on a man and everything, and doesn't really acknowledge of being a man, except for like certain issues because of where they're at.
It's how the
so it's kind of hard.
It's
to,
the translation that tells, because they just use rude terms.
Yeah, and slurs and all that.
Like it's obvious with how they are. That's most likely they're like a transgender woman. The characters that the main characters meet. Oh wait, we didn't even talk about Miyuki.
Oh yeah, Miyuki. She's basically
a runaway girl.
Yeah.
Who lives with Hana and Gin, and they have like this weird nuclear family dynamic where,
for being a homeless, just meeting
and
up.
At the very beginning, you think like, oh, they hate one another, but as the movie goes on, it really shows that they care for one another actually.
Yeah. Even though they think of a front throughout each other.
They think of each other as a family, and that's one of the main themes of this movie is family. Because when they find the baby, Kyoko.
Yeah, Kyoko.
When they find Kyoko, it's very much like that when they try to raise it, it's the family dynamics there, but then when they try to,
or whenever something bad happens and they go after after trying to find each other due to getting split up, you really see them striving to showing that amount of care inside them to strive to find that set person.
And this movie is very it has a lot of little miracles, coincidences that occur.
Miracles and coincidences that revolve wholly around the holidays and the Christmas spirit, and also the New Year's spirit.
Like a Christmas miracle is in a miracle from God, essentially. Because there's a lot of moments where it feels natural, like they're talking to these people in the neighborhood, and all the people in the neighborhood come together to give them information. That feels like it would actually happen when they get information. But there's another moment where they they just happen to run into the one guy that could allow the plot to progress forward.
Or like whenever they get to the one section, they move something and it just gives them the right information they need.
Now, none of these really felt bad. In fact, it was just very funny or nice to see. But there was just one coincidence that I thought was like a real like Deus Ex Machina, and that's with the store and like,
also the very ending. Yeah, and also the moment.
But I can accept the very ending one. There's one at the very ending I can accept because it's like, oh crap, how's this gonna go? And it's like it's the only way that we can get a nice ending. Yeah, and then like
the magic of
the
magic.
Holidays. Now, I think we mentioned before, every character gets like an arc, or they get some form of closure, a closure to their backstories, and you see like their motivations, why they're the way they are now. But the problem with me about this movie, one problem I have with this movie, is at the very end,
one character does not get the closure they deserve, but yet it kind of still has
sets it up. But yet, I wanted to see
what it should be.
It sets up the closure, because through the theming of this movie and how the ending ends, it sets it up. But I wanted to see it happen, and it didn't happen. So.
But honestly, since every other person had a happy closure moment, I felt like we knew that that person's going to have their happy closure moment at the end, even though we didn't get it. And there was also leaving off of what's going to happen afterwards for this member, and how they're going to live their lives afterwards, since, you know, they accomplished their goals in the end. Yet, you know, it didn't feel like, oh, it was just cut off and we needed to know that. It kind of had more of that openness to where it felt like you could use your imagination to see what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, leave them wanting more, is basically how they ended it. You want to talk about animation? Do that?
The animation is very cartoonish for the characters, more or less. But while the environment is mute in color and everything, gives a realistic tone to it. And also, it was one of the first few animes I've seen recently, possibly in like the start of 2000s, where he used more of a photorealistic kind of tone for their animation in the background.
Everything's proportioned and colored like realistically. The only times it goes off that boundary is when a character's being really expressive and the camera's in their face and they're like yelling at someone. Then they allow portions to kind of, you know, bend and twist and allow the character's face to really show the emotion that they're feeling.
Although with like the town aspect of it, it's not like, you know, how we had like the kind of build of like Ghost in the Shell's town, or curious more of what we're getting from like the news anime that we have nowadays. Like it actually shows the evolution of how a transcending of a different animation style which we have now. Final verdict? Yeah. So I would say
final verdict for Tokyo Godfathers, I'd say we agree on this.
Definitely a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Not perfect like, you know, per se Cowboy Bebop.
But I would say it is like a masterpiece in terms of the quality.
It's definitely a must see for
definitely.
Whether it's just a holiday movie or if you're into anime in general, it is.
And that's why we're doing it first, because we wanted to make sure by Christmas you could watch this instead of watching A Wonderful Life for the millionth time, or like what's another good Christmas movie? That's
Once Upon a... Is it Once Upon a... No, that's a show.
A Christmas Story with Scrooge.
Christmas,
yeah. That's
add
Tokyo Godfathers to the list.
Yes,
it's super great.
Like I feel like, even though if you're not an anime, this is definitely a movie that anybody can get behind and enjoy, purely due to the Christmas spirit and New Year's Eve kind of aspect of it. Whether it's in between, it's really well done. The only area is what you kind of went about was how the one person didn't actually technically get closure in it, but it kind of left off knowing that it's going to come out happy, because the way the person that comes in was shocked and happy kind of in an aspect. You knew it wasn't going to turn out bad, and anyways, every other conclusion we've got has always been good, so how can it come out bad? That would be like a very bad distaste as an ending towards coming off this series. And it's just all around great, animation's good, voice acting, wouldn't have it any other way. Definitely could not handle if it was English dub, and I'm an English dub kind of guy.
Like the only way this movie can be seen right now is through
fan
subbing. And I think that's the best way to keep it, because I don't think there's a cast that can really match the emotion and the style that everyone else did in this movie.
I don't think it has like an actual
English dub. No,
well, no, an American port is what I mean.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It doesn't have anything like that.
It has
I haven't found anything searching for it, which is a shame, because I wish it did.
Because if they had a DVD of it, I would definitely buy it. Because like,
so must buy. If you see it, buy it.
It's like Paprika, Perfect. Like these are movies that are well known. This is one that's not as well known. Yeah, Redline. This is one that's definitely not as well known. That should be as well known and is a must see. I really recommend.
10 out of 10. Go get it. Yeah. Watch it. Watch it at Christmas. And that will conclude day one. I think we did a good job on that one. Second take, by the way. Third take.
Yeah.
Oh man, we've just had crime problems all day. But anywho, see you all next time. I hope that doesn't look as stupid as I thought it did.